I am Craig, and welcome back to All Nerd Everything, where I discuss all things from movies, TV shows, comic books, wrestling, etc., etc. And as the title says, you guys know, if you've seen any of my videos before, I love Superman. Superman is one of my favorite heroes ever, and I wanted to give a few recommendations for the Superman haters who know little to nothing about him and think that he's just boring because he's really strong and that he's, OP. And those are the people that only have seen the live action, you know, movies and have not seen anything like Smallville or even Superman or Lois or anything from a DC AMU or the DCAU, like Superman the animated series, Justice League, or even read the comic books. And I wanted to give you guys my five comic book recommendations for Superman haters, as the title says. Now, this is in no particular order, but I'm going to start with number one, and that's one that I'm currently reading at the moment, and that is Superman World Saga. Now, I'm almost finished with this. So far, this has been amazing. Now, World Saga, Superman is his power level is depleting. He finds out that Mongol has sent these enslaved Kryptonians to hunt him down and kill him. So he enlists the help of the authority to go to World to help these enslaved people escape. However, they think that their chains and you think that being behind bars and being in chains empowers them, and it's actually doing the opposite. And the Mongol that Superman is fighting is actually the second Mongol. The original Mongol was the father of the one in World Saga, and Mongol killed the original Mongol, took his title, took his throne, took his name, whatever. And the whole planet is filtered with, with the same radiation that's equivalent to the red sun that robs Superman of his powers. So it's a great story involving, slavery and genocide. And I think you guys will really love this. And on top of that, Lois and Jonathan are very worried. More so, Jonathan is very worried about, you know, his father not coming back because he's already at a disadvantage with not being at full strength, and he's not prepared to take up the mantle of Superman from his father. So you also have that going on as well, while Superman is trying to empower these enslaved people to even to take back their to find out who they to accept who they really are, and not a not just be thrusted into this whole slavery thing that Mongol has put on them, even, changing their names and giving them these random titles, and, kind of robbing them of their identity. And on a planet like World, even Superman was told that hope will get you killed on World. However, Superman is very willed, not only physically but mentally as well, and he will stop nothing to defeat Mongol and help these enslaved people figure out their true identity. So number one is Superman World Saga, phenomenal. Now, next up, number two, I already discussed this. Kingdom Come, one of my favorites. Now, this is more so I consider this more so a Superman comic than, a Justice League one. And even though it involves all the other members of Justice League, the prominent ones of the story are the Trinity: Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. However, the focal point of the story is on Superman and how, society collapses without Superman and the other members of the Justice League. Even the gods gave up their position and pretty much let humanity fight amongst each fight among each other when Superman up and quit. I mean, it just shows how much people respect and idolize Superman and look up to him as a symbol of hope, and how much he instills upon people, whether it's gods, aliens, metahumans, whatever. And it's really great story. Mark Waid is one of the best writers ever. I love him. The one thing I really don't like about this is the Superman Wonder Woman relationship. I feel like writers only put them together because both of them, like I said, are really strong and can punch stuff and can fly and jump really high. I don't really like that aspect of the story. But other than that, it is a 10 out of 10, highly recommended. Now, next up, one of my favorites, Superman Up in the Sky. I absolutely love Superman Up in the Sky. Now, this was really hard to find in individual copies. Now, I remember I read this online first because I was randomly searching for new stuff to read that I haven't read before. And I came across Superman Up in the Sky by Tom King. And you, I haven't read too much of Tom King, considering that I've heard a lot of his other stories are him, putting his military days into a lot of his writing, and I'm not trying to read a lot of that. That it just sounds very annoying than anything else. But Superman Up in the Sky, I think one thing that's great about this story is that it shows that Superman is willing to travel the ends of the galaxy just to save one person. Now, when a little girl goes missing from her house, there's a break in. Her parents are killed. Her Two of her sisters are killed, and one's in critical condition in the hospital. And Superman has to put on his investigation cape to find out where this missing girl is. And throughout the comics, we see various, like, I don't want to say various like flashbacks to previous events, like him racing against the Flash, stuff like that. And what I love about this is that each single edition has a very unique cover art to the story of the comic that it's telling at the moment. And what makes this so special is that a lot of people think that Superman is just all bronze and no brains, but that could not be further from the truth. In Superman Up in the Sky, he has to this is one of those stories that he can't punch his way out of, and he has to, use his brain to figure out where this missing little girl is. And like I said, one of my favorite things about Superman Up in the Sky is when he finally rescues the little girl, she asks him what matters to him the most. And his response is, family, my dog. And it's just very, very well written, and it just shows that Superman cares about people so much he'll travel to the all across the galaxy, even travel dimensions to save one person. So yeah, highly recommend Superman Up in the Sky. Next up, I have Superman Brainiac. Now, this was adapted into Superman Unbound, which you guys can watch on HBO Max. This is how I first heard about Superman Brainiac. Figure out, I wanted to read the source material just to see how it differed from the adaptation. I prefer the source material minus the ending. In Unbound, Superman and Lois aren't married, but in Superman and Brainiac, they already are. And in Unbound, with it ends differently than how the source material ends it. But Superman Brainiac is, I would say, it's more of a Supergirl story than a Superman story. Supergirl has survivor's guilt from what happened to her planet when Brainiac invades, and Superman has to help her conquer her PTSD to to help to defeat Brainiac. And it's not just that, but I love how Brainiac treats Superman as an alien and thinks that being a human is beneath him with all the abilities that he has, and even says that, you know, being being a human is being human makes you weaker, and you should just accept who you are, and that is, an alien. And that the stuff that Supergirl goes through is very tragic. So I really like watching the story of her trying to conquer her fear and overcome her past trauma to help save another planet that she couldn't save at first, because she was sent to Earth after Clark grew up. So she watched her home planet be destroyed, but she can make up for it by helping, her cousin save another planet, which is done really well. I even like how the ending battle to Superman and Brainiac comes to a close, with Superman taking Brainiac outside of the spaceship, and he hears all these things in his head: birds chirping, um, motorcycles revving up, cars moving, traffic, and it's too much for him because he has been in a deep slumber for so long and has never been on Earth and has never adapted to Earth's, atmosphere. And it's really great. So highly recommend Superman Brainiac by Jeff Johns. And finally, my number five, one of my favorite all-time Superman comics, Superman for All Seasons. Now, the art style might not be for everyone. However, I love the art style. And I think I've talked about this before, but Superman for All Seasons is broken up into multiple chapters in the multiple seasons. Spring, fall, summer, winter, and is narrated by other people in Clark's life. So, Lana Lang, Jonathan Kent, Lois Lane, Lex Luthor. The Lex the Lex one feels more like a Superman story, and the other ones we're seeing Clark as a person and his upbringing and how he's grown up as a very well-rounded, respectable man, and how his parents instilled this good naturing farm boy to become this, beyond beyond belief this supernatural human being that can do extraordinary things that decides to put on a cape. So I really love this comic. This is one of my all-time favorite Superman comics. So that is my list, you guys. Let me know if I left anything out. But other than that, that is my list of top 5 Superman comics that I think every Superman hater should read. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video.